Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If I froze your salary at today's level for next 10 years, would you collapse financially or would you still be okay? Now for most people, that question is terrifying. Not because they don't earn enough, but because they have spent years chasing for high income without ever building their first real base of wealth, their first 10 lakh. If you haven't crossed your first 10 lakh, then that 1 CR goal is much further away and much harder than most people realize. Irony of life is, if hard works create wealth, then why are so many hardworking people still financially stressed? Think about people around you. Teachers, engineers, doctors, government employees, small business owners, salary employed. Most of them have been working hard for 10, 20, 30 years. They have shown up to their job every day. They have been hardworking. They have been responsible adults. And yet, most of them still worry about money. Not because they are careless, but because they are confused about income and wealth. Income is the money that comes in every month. Wealth is that money that stays, grows, and eventually starts working for you. And between these two, there is one milestone that quietly decides how you move fast from working for money to money working for you. Everyone dreams about becoming a crorepati, but your first 10 lakh is where you earn how to turn your income to wealth. In this video, I'm going to show you why your first 10 lakh matters more than your first CR. What actually changes when you hit that number, and a practical roadmap to reach to that number, even if your salary today is not that high. Namaste friends, I'm Rohini and you're watching the knowledge series of Fincash.com. Imagine you start from zero today. You set up a SIP of 10,000 a month in a diversified equity fund. And over the long term, let's assume that you're getting 12% a year. Ballpark, that 10,000 a month might take you about 5 years to reach your first 10 lakh. If you increase it to 15,000, you could get there in roughly 3.5 to 4 years. At 20,000, it might be closer to 3 years. In the first phase, from 0 to 10 lakh, all the progress is coming from you every month, where you're putting efforts every month and investing. You are doing the heavy lifting, and the portfolio often feels like it's growing painfully slowly. Now let's flip it. Let's assume that you have already reached 10 lakh and keep it invested with the same 12%. Even if you add nothing more, that 10 lakh can grow towards 1 CR over about 20 years purely through compounding. If you continue your SIP on top, you reach 1 crore much faster because now two engines are running. One is your contribution and other is your returns. That's the key idea. From 0 to 10 lakh, you are doing most of the heavy lifting. From 10 lakh to 1 CR, your money starts actually working for you. That is why your first 10 lakh matters so much. If you're curious about how your own SIP could work, you can check out SIP calculator, which is linked in the description box below after watching this video. SIP calculator actually gives you a wonderful idea about how much time you would require to reach to your financial goal. All you have to put is the amount you're willing to invest every month and your tenure. Let's talk about what your first 10 lakh investment actually do to your mindset. On paper, 10 lakh is just numbers, but in real life, it is proof point. During these tenure, you witness how your money survives up and down, how your money behaves when market fall, and how they recover. That shift triggers 3 powerful changes in your psychology. The first is you start thinking long term. Before 10 lakh, it's very tempting to chase quick wins, stock tips, speculation, timing the market. After 10 lakh, you have seen with your own eyes that consistency beats cleverness. You become more patient, you're okay with the boredom, and you're more focused on staying invested than constantly optimizing. Second is you become more disciplined by default. Hitting 10 lakh almost never happens by accident. To get there, you have already said no to unnecessary spending. You have increased your SIP and you have sat through volatility. That discipline becomes a part of your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to save. You start seeing yourself as an investor building wealth. And once that identity clicks, sticking to good habits become much easier. Third is your relationship with risk changes. In the beginning, every loss feels scary because every rupee feels huge. A 10% fall on 50,000 hurts more emotionally than a 10% fall on 10 lakh, because earlier you are still not sure if the system even works. After 10 lakh investment, you have already seen volatility and recovery. Risk stops feeling like danger and starts feeling normal noise in a long journey. That calmer attitude helps you avoid panic selling and FOMO buying, two of the biggest wealth destroyers. And there is one more subtle but important shift. When you have 10 lakh invested, you stop relying only on your salary for confidence. You know that even if you have no job tomorrow, you're not starting from zero. That is real growth base behind you. That financial comfort gives you confidence to negotiate better, say no to toxic situation, or even take calculated career risk. So mentally, your first 10 lakh is not just money in a mutual fund. It is a point where you start hoping and feeling that you will become wealthier one day, and you actually start seeing a clear path. Now let's talk about why so many people never reach their first 10 lakh even with a decent income. Most of the time, the problem isn't how much you earn. It's a few repeating pattern that quietly keeps you stuck below that number for years. And here are some of the biggest mistakes people do. Number 1, treating investment as a hobby, not as a system. Most people invest when they have something left. Some months they invest, some months they don't. There is no fixed SIP, no automation, no clear target. 5 years go by and instead of a visible growing corpus, they just have random amounts scattered across accounts and apps, and nothing crosses 10 lakh. The fix here is simple and very practical. Turn investment into a system, not mood. Set up automatic systematic investment plan that runs as soon as your salary hits your account. Second mistake is lifestyle expanding faster than income. Every time the salary goes up, expenses shoot up even faster. New phone, better car, more eating out, more online shopping. On paper, income has grown a lot. In reality, your monthly surplus is almost the same, or sometimes even less. If your income increases but your investment amount doesn't change for 3 to 5 years, crossing 10 lakh will feel painfully slow. The better rule here is, as your income grows, commit a fixed percentage of that rise. Say 30 to 40% directly into increasing your SIP. With this, what happens is your lifestyle still improves, but your wealth building engine also gets stronger. The third mistake is chasing excitement instead of compounding. A lot of people stay stuck below 10 lakh is because they are bored. Long-term mutual fund, index funds, SIPs, they are not exciting day to day. So they chase what feels exciting, that is stock tips, trading, crypto, things which sells has guaranteed doubles. They go for hot trends. When your base is small, one bad decision can set you back by years. Instead of crossing 10 lakh, you go in circle, win, loss, withdraw, restart. In 0 to 10 lakh phase, boring is your friend. Your main job is not to find the next 10x. Your main job is to keep adding money regularly to a sensible, diversified plan and let the time do its work. The fourth mistake is starting late but stopping early. Two classic behavior that kills compounding before 10 lakh. People say that they'll start their investment when their salary is high. Some pause their SIP for a while, saying that they'll restart it later. Year passes in the loop. Starting with even a small SIP and increasing it over time is far more powerful than waiting for perfect moment. And if you stop your SIP every time life gets busy or market falls, you will never build momentum. Think of it like going to a gym. You keep restarting from zero and you never reach the heavy weight. The fifth mistake people do is they don't have any emergency fund. So the investments keep getting broken. The moment there is medical expense, a job issue or a family crisis, they're forced to redeem investment. Even if they get close to 5 to 6 lakh, one emergency pulls them back down. This breaks not just compounding but also confidence. The solution is to respect the sequence. First is to build an emergency fund and get essential insurance in place, and then you aggressively push towards your 10 lakh investment goal. So if you haven't reached your first 10 lakh yet, ask these questions honestly to yourself. Am I relying on willpower instead of a system? Is my lifestyle growing faster than my investment? Am I chasing excitement instead of consistency? Do I keep stopping and restarting? Do I have an emergency buffer, or are my investments my emergency fund? If you're serious about not staying below 10 lakh for next 3 to 5 years, you cannot rely on guesswork or vibe. You need a clear, number-driven plan. So here it is, a simple framework that shows you exactly what to do, how much to invest, how to reach your first 10 lakh as fast and as safely as possible. All you have to do is plug in your numbers. Step 1 is to decide your timelines and reverse engineer the monthly number. Stop treating 10 lakh as a vague someday goal. Give it a deadline. For example, I want to reach 10 lakh in about 5 years. I want to reach 10 lakh in about 3 years. I'm okay with 6 to 7 years, but I want realistic low stress plan. Once you choose a timeline, start working backwards, assuming a sensible long-term return from an equity mutual fund. For around 5 years, you might need roughly 10 to 12,000 per month. For around 4 years, closer to 15 to 18,000 per month. For around 3 years, you're likely in 20,000 plus per month zone. These are ballpark range, not precise calculator outputs. The real point is to connect your dream, that is 10 lakh, to a monthly SIP amount so it stops being abstract. Second step is automate. Once you have a target monthly amount, follow these 3 steps. Set up systematic investment plan to go out into your fund within 2 to 3 days of your salary credit. Split across 2 to 3 good funds if needed, but keep the structure very simple. Treat this like a non-negotiable, just like rent or EMI. If you invest only when you remember or only when something is left, you will almost always underinvest. Your goal is to make default behavior I invest and the exception I skip. Automation protects you from your own excuses. The third step is add a yearly step up to your SIP. One of the easiest way to speed up your journey without feeling a huge pinch is to increase your SIP every year. Every time your salary goes up, raise your SIP by at least 10 to 20%. If you start with 8,000 per month, target 9,000 to 10,000 next year and 11,000 to 12,000 the year after, and so on. What happens with Step Up SIP is it keeps your investment growth in line with your income growth, and it shortens the time to reach 10 lakh without demanding a massive jump all at once. Step 4 is standardize your core strategy. In the 0 to 10 lakh phase, your biggest edge is consistency, not complexity. So instead of constantly changing funds, style, and asset classes, pick a simple diversified core, typically a mix of good equity mutual funds or index funds suited to your risk level. Review once or twice a year, not every week. Do not react emotionally to every market move. If you keep switching on your strategies, you keep resetting your own compounding. So if you stick with a reasonable plan, even average funds plus consistent investing can take you past 10 lakh. Fifth step is attach a real life meaning to your 10 lakh goal. Don't let 10 lakh just be a random number on screen. Give it a story. For example, once I hit 10 lakh, I know I can realistically reach 1 crore in my lifetime. 10 lakh is the point where my money starts earning a meaningful second income for me. So you can also give it a life by saying that when I cross 10 lakh, I celebrate, but I also commit to staying invested. Give your goal an emotional, meaningful story so that you don't give up in between. You stay invested and committed till you reach to your goals. Through this video, I hope you have understood that your first 10 lakh is not a small milestone. So don't end up this video by saying nice concept. End by taking a decision. You don't need perfection. You don't even need a high salary. But you need a clear milestone. A simple plan and the courage to stick to it. So tonight, set your 10 lakh deadline. Write your starting SIP. Write down how much you will increase your SIP every year. Write down your financial goals. What would you do once you reach your 10 lakh? And tell yourself that from today, you're not just watching content about money. You are building your first 10 lakh. And once you do that, your 1 crore dream is not too far. It's just the date that you haven't reached yet. It is your money. Invest it wisely.